Alright, so this is my first clear I'm posting of this game. StellaVanity. This game's been on my radar for quite a while. When I first played Hellsinker, which is probably my favorite shmup I've played, and also my first ever 1cc, one critic clear of a shmup. I heard of this game. The UI looks similarly complicated, which is what drew me to it, because for whatever reason I like the more complicated things instead of the more simple shmups. I can still appreciate those, but the ones that I tend to play for a longer period of time are the ones that are more complicated like this. And I've been playing this game for maybe 3 or 4 days. This particular clear took me several attempts. This is just the normal difficulty of the game. The only thing lower than this is easy. Although I would say even easy in this game is not really considered easy in terms of other games' easy modes. Some might disagree, but I don't claim to be an expert on all shmups or anything, but this game definitely seems on the more difficult side of things than your standard shmup, as far as the lowest difficulty still being kind of a challenge. But anyway, I'm not really going to talk too much about the mechanics of the game because I don't really understand a lot of it myself yet. We're just going to talk about my initial experiences with the game and some choice moments from this run that I liked, disliked. Definitely going to be uploading more videos of this game because I'm nowhere near done with it. Each one of the difficulty levels in the game has technically 5 different ranks by itself. And there's like, I want to say 6 or 7 different difficulty levels, so there's quite a bit of variety, but it does require a lot of skill in order to unlock those different ranks, which changes who the true last boss is. There's basically one true last boss, and there's 2 that are kind of the fake true last bosses. But I'm not even good enough at the game to even get one of the fake true last bosses yet. So this run only has the final boss of the final stage. And it's also worth noting that this is only 5 stages, which is the first stage, 3rd stage, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th stage. It's a 7 stage long game. This does not have stages 2 and 4. In order to play all the stages sequentially, you have to meet certain requirements and score requirements, and to get the different ranks, it's based on score as well as how many times you get hit, stuff like that. So, again, not nearly well-versed enough in this game to commentate on like the different systems and mechanics and everything, but comment on the little that I can as the opportunity presents itself. I will say that the bullet patterns in general, I think, being on the normal difficulty. Again, there's only one difficulty lower than this at this point. And even on the easy difficulty, the bullet patterns can get pretty dense, in my opinion, in comparison to most shmups on their default, difficulty, or the easy mode or the beginner mode or something like that. In my eyes, anyways. And again, I'm not an expert. I don't really have too terribly much experience in the genre as far as getting clears and 1cc's and stuff, but I feel like I've played enough of them in order to make the opinion that this game is harder than most on its default and easy difficulties. There's quite a bit to understand when it comes to different stuff going on, your different options, your different attacks, and when best to use them, and when to save them, and all that kind of stuff. Same as any shmup, but there's a little bit more going on with this one than most. I mentioned Hellsinker. Initially, a lot of people will sort of crown that one as the most complicated. And I think it still probably wins that award in terms of just overall, because even the main menu of that game is confusing, and this game is much more straightforward when it comes to that. But I would say the actual mechanics of the game are on par with Hellsinker, as far as understanding when best to use certain things and how the scoring works. I still don't really even understand the scoring in Hellsinker, but anyways, enough about other games. Yeah, I don't know, if you played a decent amount of shmups, I think probably agree, if you haven't played this one before, that the density of the patterns and stuff seems a little bit more than you're probably used to seeing on the lower difficulties. There's a lot of understanding the systems. There is a lot of forgiveness and options to sort of avoid bullets that are amassing on the screen, to clear them and that kind of thing. But even with those, this is another one of those games that pretty much requires your focus the whole time. Most shmups do that, but I think this one even more so. And I know that's not saying a lot, even just for this difficulty being just the normal difficulty and not even anything higher than rank 0, which you can see there in the bottom left. It says story mode, normal, then rank 0. I will say where it says auto guard, that's basically the bombs, the green discs that are in the bottom left, right next to where it says normal. Those are my bombs. I don't use any bombs. Actually, I used one bomb accidentally in the last stage in this run. But I don't use any bombs other than that for survival purposes, because in this game it does have a pretty gracious auto bomb system, which if you get hit while you have a bomb, it'll just waste one of them and it won't count, as you losing life, which is very nice. If that were not a thing, I probably wouldn't have this clear yet. I definitely wouldn't, in fact. So, but it is a system in the game, and any sort of system that you can use to your advantage to survive is, you have to use it. So that's what I'm doing here. again, getting this clear even on the normal rank 0. Even getting easy rank 0 clear, which I haven't recorded, and I probably won't record since I already have normal up here. Even on easy, I didn't do it the first or second time. Like, it still took several tries. This one took quite a bit more than that, but again, I just started playing the game, so not claiming this to be the greatest gaming achievement ever or anything like that. But I am proud of it, because I don't think a year ago I probably would have been able to get this clear this quickly in terms of, you know, just in a few days of playing. One thing I will mention is that there's 2 different characters, and they have 2 different types to them. 2 different types of pretty much the entire way the game plays changes dramatically between them. There's one that's more simplified, and I guess technically people say that it's actually harder because of the fact that it's simplified and you don't have as many options, but it is, control-wise, it's a lot simpler. This is the more complex version, so Type C is the sort of, I guess C probably stands for Classic or something like that, because there's only like 3 buttons. This is the Type S, which I think is probably the intended way to play the game. But instead of 3 buttons, you have 6 or 7, so it's quite a bit more to playing this mode, but I think it's a lot more fun. I gravitate more towards the more complicated games for whatever reason. They're the types of games that I play longer than the more classic stuff. I still enjoy playing classic shmups as well, but these are the ones that I play for longer. Really learn the intricacies of, and have a desire to, you know, clear the higher difficulties. I don't think I'm probably going to clear every difficulty in this game, or anything like that, but I do want to at least get a clear of the true last boss on some difficulty, which is probably going to be easy, but even the higher rank 0 difficulties above normal are considered to be easier than the high rank easy clear, which is just shows you how insane this game can get on the higher difficulties, when even the easy mode, the hardest version of easy mode, is harder than like the hardest plain difficulty. But yeah. And I have seen footage of the hardest difficulty, even just the normal rank 0 version of it, and it's pretty insane. I'd like to have a clear of that, ideally, but I don't know if I have the patience for it. But we'll see what happens. And like I said, I've only been playing this for a few days. Still definitely plan to play it quite a bit more. It is one of those games, kind of like Hellsinker, where it feels like it's made because it wants you to complete it, and it wants to encourage you to get better and better. And even when I've lost runs, like on an attempt to get this clear, yeah, it's been frustrating, but I've never really hesitated very long to jump back in and try again, or you know, practice the level. Which the game does have the option to practice it. It's something, unfortunately, you have to buy in a shop to practice each level on each difficulty, but at least the option is there instead of not being there at all. But yeah, these gold coins and gems and all that I don't know the formula that converts to how much currency you get to buy things in the shop. Um, but it's not too crazy expensive in order to unlock each level to practice it. Again, it's better that it is an option rather than it not being there at all, because I had to use it to practice the final stage, which I believe is the next stage after this. It's the final stage. We'll say right there, that dinging sound and that big star, spinning star thing, that's the Autobomb going off. I think that's one of the first times that I've actually gotten hit to use it, but that's going to change a lot in the next stage, because I'm going to get hit a lot, and I'm actually going to lose some lives. Because the ramp up in difficulty... Oh, there's another Autobomb there. The ramp up in difficulty from this stage to the next one is pretty large, in my opinion. And I actually think this first part of the stage is the hardest part. Again, I only have experience with 2 difficulties on this to have this opinion, but it seems like quite a little bit of a onslaught going on at the start of this level, trying to take your lives and your bombs that you have so conserved, you know, the whole time. Definitely puts the pressure on more in this level. I will say this though, it would take quite a bit of playing time with this game for you to get to the point of being able to play this final stage to where it's considered boring or something, because there's pretty much always something going on. There's hardly any breaks at all in this level. And you really have to learn what enemies cancel bullets. Obviously some of the hypers that I'm using, which there's 2 main ones, they will cancel bullets or convert them into other forms of gems or coins, or just outright cancel them altogether, which is vital for being able to survive this stage. I'm sure somebody's done it without using them, of course, because there's always somebody that's done that. But for me, I'm still proud of this. Still proud of this clear regardless. And there I got hit. I think that's the first time I've died, actually, lost a life in the run, but it's not going to be the last. This level really does not let up. And I can only imagine what this is going to be like on the higher difficulties. I was pretty proud of that. Streaming there, being able to dodge that, although one of the other times I did get hit by something and used one of my auto bombs. So I had like 6, I think, 6 bombs for my previous life, which means I got hit 6 times, and then that time I just got hit where I lost the life. So got hit 7 times. So if it weren't for this auto bomb system, I would have been out of the game probably. Well, it probably would have been this stage, but the run would have already been over if it weren't for the auto bomb system. So that's very, very useful. I think you can't. I don't think you can use that on the two of the highest difficulty modes. I don't think the auto bomb even works, but for now it's fine. So one game specific thing I'll mention about these big green orb things. There's 2 of these in this level, and if you kill them before the time runs out, both of them, you'll get an extend, which is more or less free, which is nice. I have basically three lives at this point, but having more is always better. And since this is the first time that I've cleared this mode, I wanted all the resources that I could get. And there I got hit again. So now I'm down to only 1 life. Now the special thing about these green things is if you use your bomb, which you haven't even seen me do until now, that's the bomb. That actually heals those things, so that was the worst time for me to use that. Very fitting for me, my skills as a gamer, for that to happen. But either way, that red heart that you could maybe see briefly there, that was the extra life. I've gotten that before and then immediately lost it. Because, again, this stage just does not let up the whole time. Anytime you see bullets being cancelled or disappearing, it's because of the hyper that I'm using. And when the meter of that hyper runs out, when one of the versions of it runs out, it will cancel everything on the screen and convert it into gems, which is useful. This descent elevator section is an homage to Ketsui. The developer has said that they took a lot of inspiration from Ketsui for that. Although I think the descending from Ketsui is probably harder. Now the opposite of the descent is the ascent, coming up to the final boss pretty soon here. So I will say, this final boss is, again, not intended to be the actual final boss. It's just kind of meant to be like a little diversion or brief distraction from the actual true last boss, or even the fake true last bosses that come after it. but I have not gotten good enough at the game yet to be able to unlock them. So this is just going to be this boss, which is called the core unit, um, which only has 3 phases, which none of them are particularly hard in terms of final bosses. Even games that have the true last bosses, TLBs, like the final boss before them is still generally pretty challenging, at least to some extent. This one is not too bad. So that little siren effect that you might have heard there means that this is an overkill, which means the health bar is not going to decrease, but I just get extra points as much as I damage it until the hyper ran out, but I got hit, so it canceled. But it doesn't count as an actual hit or death if you get hit during that, which is nice. I'm really interested to see what some of these patterns look like on the higher difficulties. But anyways, I just wanted to upload a clear that I was proud of. Don't have enough time to get really into any sort of explanations of the game, not that I really understand it enough anyways, but hope you enjoyed the video. Definitely be uploading more of this game as I get better at it, and thanks for watching.